Have you ever noticed how certain women seem untouched by time, carrying an inexplicable luminosity that defies their chronological age? There's something more than genetics at play here. Something that whispers of deeper mysteries hidden beneath the surface of what we call aging. This isn't about skincare routines or surgical interventions. We're about to explore a phenomenon that Carl Jung would have recognized immediately, one that reveals how the soul's condition directly influences the body's expression. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about the relationship between inner vitality and outer appearance. The secret lies not in what these women do, but in what they carry within their energetic field. A rare spiritual configuration that acts as a protective shield against the erosive forces of time itself. By the end of our exploration, you'll understand why some souls remain luminous while others dim, and how this ancient wisdom might transform your own relationship with aging. The mystery begins not with the mirror, but with the light that emanates from within. When Jung spoke of the psyche's influence on physical manifestation, he understood that consciousness shapes reality in ways our modern world has forgotten. Some women carry a vibrational frequency that operates outside the ordinary laws of temporal decay. Picture a woman walking through a crowded room. She draws attention not through effort or artifice, but through an indefinable quality that seems to bend light around her. Her face carries stories, yet remains mysteriously fresh. Her eyes hold depths that speak of ancient knowing, yet sparkle with childlike wonder. This is the archetype of the luminous feminine, the woman whose soul keeps her young. Jung identified this phenomenon through his concept of individuation, the process by which the unconscious and conscious mind integrate to create psychological wholeness. Women who embark on this inner journey often discover that their external appearance begins to reflect their internal transformation. They carry what he called the eternal aspect of the feminine, the timeless essence that transcends biological aging. There exists within these women what Jung termed the anima mundi, the world soul that connects all living things through invisible threads of meaning. They have learned to attune themselves to this cosmic rhythm, allowing their personal timeline to synchronize with something far more vast and ancient. This alignment creates what mystics have always known. Time bends around consciousness, and consciousness shapes the vessel that contains it. These women share a common thread that weaves through their life experiences like golden wire through dark fabric. They have learned to alchemize suffering into wisdom without allowing bitterness to calcify in their hearts. Where others might grow heavy with accumulated disappointments, they have developed the rare ability to transform pain into luminous understanding. Consider the woman who has weathered multiple losses yet maintains an inexplicable softness in her features. She hasn't avoided life's challenges. Rather, she has developed what Jung termed active imagination, the capacity to work with her unconscious material in creative, transformative ways. This inner work prevents the psychic toxins that typically manifest as premature aging from taking root in her system. The ancient Greeks spoke of Chronos and Kairos, two different experiences of time. Chronos is mechanical, linear, the relentless march of seconds that most people surrender to. Kairos is sacred time, the eternal now, where transformation becomes possible. Women who appear mysteriously young have learned to live primarily in Kairos, touching Chronos only when necessary, never allowing it to define their essential nature. The process begins with what Jung called the encounter with the shadow, the aspects of ourselves we prefer to keep hidden. Most people spend enormous energy suppressing these darker elements, and this internal warfare eventually shows itself in the face, the posture, the overall energetic presence. The luminous woman has made peace with her shadow, integrating it consciously rather than fighting it unconsciously. This integration creates what ancient alchemists called the philosopher's stone, a psychological state of wholeness that radiates outward. When internal conflicts cease their constant drain on vital energy, that energy becomes available for regeneration and renewal. The face relaxes into its natural beauty. The eyes clear of the fog of internal struggle. The posture straightens with authentic confidence. But there's something even deeper at work here, something that touches on the very nature of time itself. Jung understood that the psyche operates according to its own temporal laws, what he called synchronicity, meaningful coincidence that suggests a reality beyond linear causation. Women who embody this rare spiritual trait seem to exist partially outside chronological time. These women have cultivated what Jung called the observing ego, a part of consciousness that remains detached from the drama of daily existence while simultaneously engaged with it. This psychological position allows them to witness their own aging process without becoming identified with it, creating a kind of protective distance that paradoxically slows the very process they observe. They age as participants rather than victims, and from this point forward, an even deeper truth begins to unfold. These women access what Jung described as the transcendent function, a bridge between their conscious choices and their unconscious wisdom. It's this inner harmony that creates a subtle field around them, a kind of psychological atmosphere where time behaves differently. Yes, they grow older, but they do so in alignment with the rhythm of their soul rather than the pressure of the ticking clock. You've likely encountered women like this, women who carry a presence that feels both youthful and ancient at the same time. Their gestures are soft but grounded. Their voice is calm yet powerful. Their very presence feels like stepping into a pocket of stillness. You're drawn to them without knowing why. Their inner work is written in their aura, not their age. Their resilience doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from transforming it. Their laughter isn't shallow. It comes from places that have known sorrow and survived it. Their silence isn't empty. It's full of understanding. Jung would say these are women whose wounds have become sources of consciousness rather than sources of distortion. Science is only now beginning to confirm what Jung understood long before. The inner world imprints itself on the cells. Epigenetics is revealing how emotional patterns can speed up or slow down the biological clock. Chronic fear and unprocessed trauma shorten the lifespan of cells, while emotional peace, meaning, and joy extend it. Telomeres, the biological timers at the ends of DNA, respond directly to our psychological state. Women who maintain inner equilibrium literally age differently at the cellular level. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious explains why women who tap into deeper archetypal energies awaken reservoirs of strength, renewal, and vitality that don't come from personal experience alone. They draw from something older, something ancestral and universal. This connection creates what could be called biological grace, a natural enhancement of resilience and regeneration. These women have established a steady relationship with the self, the inner center of wisdom and meaning. As Jung noted, this alignment stabilizes stress hormones, balances the emotional system, and supports the body's natural healing mechanisms. Their bodies aren't fighting their minds. Both move in the same direction. The soul's calm becomes the body's protection. Jung believed each person carries a sacred function within the psyche, a capacity to sense the spiritual dimension of life even outside organized religion. Women who embody this sacred awareness treat the body not as an object but as a vessel of consciousness. They honor their physical form with reverence rather than criticism, and this subtle respect acts like a shield against accelerated aging. Another remarkable ability these women possess is what Jung called the art of letting die, the inner wisdom to release outdated identities, old emotional burdens, and past versions of themselves without clinging. They know every stage of life demands a psychological death and rebirth. Instead of resisting, they surrender to the cycle with maturity. Because they refuse to carry emotional weight that does not belong to their present self, their faces don't become graveyards of old stories. While others accumulate invisible heaviness, shame, regret, resentment, these women unburden themselves continuously. Their radiance comes not from perfection, but from constant, conscious shedding. Their lightness is earned. This conscious release also shapes how they relate to social expectations. Jung's concept of the persona, the social mask, explains how people often become trapped in roles they no longer need. But the luminous woman wears her roles gently, ready to set them down when they restrict her growth. She refuses to let society dictate the speed or direction of her evolution. Deep within her psyche lives what Jung called the eternal feminine, a timeless inner force guiding her development. This isn't a personality trait. It's an archetype, an ancient pattern of wisdom and renewal that rises whenever she needs direction. It keeps her connected to her intuitive intelligence and prevents her from hardening into rigid ways of being. She has mastered the art of internal alchemy. Jung spoke of the transcendent function, the psychological mechanism through which new possibilities emerge from the tension of opposites. While others feel torn between youth and age, beauty and change, or strength and softness, she discovers a third path that blends and transcends these poles. In her presence, time feels softer. Age feels less threatening. She exudes an ease that others crave because she isn't fighting life. She's flowing with it. This is the archetype of the wise, radiant woman, not the stereotypical crone, but a figure who carries timeless awareness within a living, vibrant form. She draws from the deep feminine currents in the collective unconscious, currents that renew themselves endlessly. This renewal is supported by another Jungian insight. The unconscious continually compensates for the imbalances of the conscious mind. These women receive dreams, intuitions, and insights that guide them away from the internal stagnation that ages most people from the inside out. Their psyche remains fluid, adaptive, and alive. Their spiritual trait is not one thing. It is an integration of many Jungian principles woven together. They reconcile opposites within themselves. They marry strength with tenderness, light with shadow, reason with intuition, presence with mystery. Their faces reflect this harmony. Their eyes show this integration. Their aura communicates their wholeness before they speak a word. Their relationship to suffering is especially unique. Jung described differentiated feeling, the ability to experience emotions deeply without drowning in them. These women can grieve fully, rage honestly, and love wholeheartedly without letting difficult emotions poison their inner environment. This emotional intelligence keeps inflammation low, stress minimal, and energy flowing freely. They do not avoid pain, they metabolize it. This gives them a nervous system that stays regulated under pressure. They've learned to sit with inner tension long enough for transformation to occur. Modern research calls this heart coherence, a state where emotional stability harmonizes the body's biological rhythms. It supports hormonal balance, strengthens immunity, and slows cellular decay. Their peace becomes their rejuvenation. They also relate to the future in a way that delays aging. While many people cling to the past or fear what lies ahead, these women live in anticipation of becoming. Jung called this perspective thinking, the ability to sense possibilities rather than limitations. Their openness to growth generates synchronicity, drawing experiences that help them evolve rather than stagnate. It shows in their expression, faces alive with curiosity instead of resignation. Their being reflects what Jung called unus mundus, the unity between the inner and outer worlds. Their personal transformation aligns with larger cosmic rhythms, synchronizing their life cycle with the eternal cycles of nature itself. Their connection to archetypes gives them a depth that ordinary life cannot diminish. They seem to hold not only their own story but the wisdom of countless women across generations. Their laughter echoes with ancient joy. Their presence feels familiar and sacred. For this to happen, Jung said, the ego must develop a permeable boundary, strong enough to maintain identity but open enough to let the unconscious speak. This balance allows them to channel profound feminine intelligence through their individuality. This is the alchemical marriage, the conjunction, the union of opposites that produces a renewed self. Their faces become living symbols of harmony. Their presence becomes a quiet revelation. Ultimately, these women live what Jung called a symbolic life. Nothing is random, and everything carries meaning. Their daily rituals become acts of renewal. Their challenges become lessons. Their relationships become mirrors for growth. They waste nothing, not even their pain. The psyche's natural healing force becomes fully activated in them, generating continuous renewal from within. Their youthfulness is not cosmetic. It is psychological, spiritual, and cellular. And this is the real revelation. The fountain of youth is not a place. It is a state of consciousness. These women have simply chosen to walk the path of individuation, to integrate their shadows, embody their light, and honor the soul's journey. Their physical radiance is the natural expression of their inner wholeness. The rare spiritual trait they carry is available to anyone willing to meet themselves honestly and deeply. Aging slows when the soul becomes whole. Radiance appears when the psyche is at peace. Beauty becomes timeless when consciousness becomes harmonious. This is the true luminous feminine.